Hello everybody, my name is Aceface. Today we're going to be doing some more testing in the T4 Firestorm with the Ikitursa. Now this is pretty much the same thing I've done before, but I want to do more extensive testing on this because I think it is a really good accomplishment or being able to do the T4 Firestorm because it's such a nice filament to run. Extremely cheap filament cost, relatively easy compared to the T5 and T6, and also it still gives quite a bit more ISK than T3. And I'm using an Ikitursa fit that is not like super bling. It has got a bit of bling. Usually always Ikitursa fits there are usually expensive in one way or another because the hull in itself is usually quite expensive depending on where the market is at. I think right now the Ikitursa hull costs 600 million, something like that, so it's quite a bit more than a Gila. That's the same price I use for the T4 hybrid Firestorm Gila that I used to farm T4 Firestorms. You can check a video on that I made before. But with all the modules we got on here, I think we're at like 800-900 million, something like that. But it's not crazy bling. The main bling is these two Corelum C types, which are 50 million each here. Reactive, Assault Damage Control 2, Federation Navy Webifier is actually pretty cheap right now. Republic Fleet Cap Battery is not particularly expensive. These are Centii A-type small armor pairs, which are for our drones. They're not particularly expensive either. The two armor pairs and this Entropic Disintegrator, what costs a bit. This Entropic Disintegrator costs 80 million as well, I think. So you can definitely have a lot more bling. I'm not using any implants, as you can see here, completely blank clone. However, I will use for this site some two cheap boosters. This Exile right here costs 1 million on the normal server, and this costs like a few hundred K, so it's basically nothing. And it lasts a whole hour and gives us a significant boost to our armor pair rate, so I totally recommend using them if you want to be on the safe side. So we're going to go here and get to work in the T4 Firestorm. I'm quite curious how it will do on mass martial waves, because I think I have encountered a martial wave in this fit, but it was not like a mass martial wave. It was just a few martial waves. So we'll see how this goes. Okay, we've got Rodiva wave. It's pretty simple. Triglavians in general, they're usually very dangerous in the Firestorms. You've got reduced thermal resistance. They do a lot of thermal damage. But when it comes to the Ikitursa, it just has such a really incredible natural thermal resist. They actually doesn't matter too much that we have the reduced thermal resist. Let's see now, what is this? Minus 50% thermal resist. We have got 71%. So even though we've got this whole penalty, we've still got the decent resist of 71%, and it'll just react reactively with the reactive armor pair over time and become even more. Just so you there, our shields got nuked, and that's very typical for these Tech 2 Triglavian ships, especially because they have like the smallest shield buff I've ever seen. It's just really tiny, that shield buffer. You can see our armor though, it's like an absolute brick because of the Firestorm buffing our armor pool. I'll go for this buy adaptive cache. One thing that I think that is really cool about using the Ikitursa in these Firestorm sites, because it is a lot more expensive than say a Gila, this T4 Firestorm Gila I was talking about. The thing is though, I like it. This is something different, and it's also an armor-based ship. You can use something like a Zealot, for example, but I think the Ikitursa just is so much cooler. I think it's a really cool-looking ship. It looks cool, and just it's nice to go for the battleships and just go up to like 1k DPS when you spool up. So the ways with a lot of small stuff is what's going to take a lot of time, and they can get a bit frustrating from times. Okay, let's see now. Tachyon Cloud. I don't want these guys to be in Tachyon Clouds. Are they in Tachyon Clouds? No, this guy is not in Tachyon Cloud. Okay, great. I don't know if we can Webify this down Vic enough because we're in the Tachyon Cloud right now. So it's not going to be a good time in terms of getting application going on. Okay, get the drones there and move towards the transfer conduit. The reason I've got Federation Navy Hammerheads is because of the HP bonus. The Tech 2s have half the amount of HP as the Federation Navy, or at least less than the Federation Navy. Augmented Hammerheads have the same amount of HP as the faction ones, but the main issue I have with the Augmented is just that they're very expensive. They're very, very expensive drones. So even though we've got like medium drones, they're unbonused, so they're going to have pretty low HP compared to say Gila's medium drones. If we lose them, it's going to be a bit of a hit to our wallet, and we're not even relying mostly on our drones as primary source of DPS, so that's why I don't worry about going with a bit cheaper Federation Navy Hammerheads that don't do as much DPS as an Augmented. And also the DPS difference between Augmenteds and Hammerheads is not actually as big as it would seem, because these do pure DPS of a resistance time. These do thermal damage. the augmenters do mixed damage. It's not always as efficient because you want to do usually, almost always, you want to do the Firestorm or the weather effect type of damage because it's going to be reduced. This resistance right here, thermal resistance, is reduced in the Firestorm site. So that's one good thing about using the Federation Navy Hammerheads. Optimally, it'll be with the Tech 2 ones, but we'll have to get a bit closer now. I don't want to drift out of range of our Entropic Disintegrator right there. But optimally, it would be the Tech 2 ones. The thing is, I worry too much about losing the Tech 2 ones because their buff is so tiny. Because we've got the remote repairs here, 3 of them in fact. We can remote repair very well. Because the great thing about the Ikitursa and Triglavian ships in general is they usually get a lot of bonuses to their remote repairs. So we have good range. It increases the range of these, even though these are small ones. We have 20 kilometer and 24 kilometer fall off or range within 24 kilometers, and they also use less capacitor than they usually would as well. So it's really nice to have some remote armor repairs on Triglavian ships because they're usually a lot more efficient than they otherwise would be. It's a quite unique thing as well because it's like on a combat ship they've got remote repair bonuses. Usually you only find them on dedicated Logi ships. Blinding Leshak. We'll go with probably the Mystic initially. Try to snipe some of these frigates on the way here. 46 kilometer range. We've got also a Tachyon class, so it'll be good for gaining range here. Let's see now. We can use the... Come on, shoot, please. There we go. And we'll get the drones. Can we lock up anything here? No, we've got lots of blinding guys here. It's a bit annoying. Let's see if we can get into this Tachyon class and just yeet right into these guys. Oh, we're taking a bit of damage right there, but Reactive Armor Hardener is going to spool up in due time. One thing that I did here that was a bit of a mistake was that I didn't reset my Reactive Armor Hardener because here we were lucky that it was the Triglavians again. They're doing the same damage type as the ones we had previously. Otherwise, it could have been some completely different damage type, and it would have been a bad time for us. We would have had a lot less tank. Okay, we'll go here and orbit these guys. Try to keep transversal up, sort of manual pilot a little bit while they're bumping into these asteroids. It's a bit funny how I can see this going on right here. They got full shields now. I'm not used to them having full shields. Is this like a change? Because I thought that usually they get increased armor, but they've got like a lot of shields suddenly. I don't know what that is. What's going on with that? Strange. I've heard that there's been something going on with the shields being buffed of abyssal entities, but I'm not 100% sure about that because we're in Firestorm, so it's only going to be buffing armor, not these the shield pool. Blinding Leshak. They try to keep range, these guys. That's their AI. They love to keep range. But we're just sitting here on top of them. Quite a bit of luck that we had that Tachyon cloud so that we could get straight into them right like this, but you don't always want to get too close. If there's starvers, then you would just get your capacitor drained straight away. Oh, I forgot as well. We're using just one armor repair. I turned it off to save a bit of capacitor before. So we could potentially have a lot more tank here, so it shows how boss our tank is. Okay, they're getting quite far away, those guys over there. Time doesn't seem to be too good because like we're just having to go around and get really close to them. If we were in a Gila, it would be a bit easier with the drones. Having to just tell them, oh, go over there, and you go over there, and that's it. But here, you have to get pretty close to be able to do optimal damage to them. We'll go and use our Mystic here. They've gone all the way over there. Where's another one here? We'll move towards snipe a few of these guys on the way here, maybe. Got very good range with our Mystic. But if it was in Nagila, just tell the drone, yeah, go to these Leshaks over here, and it'll be good. Okay, we can maybe just snipe these little rogue drones because we've got a good transversal since we're very far away from them. Never mind. Can I shoot there? Come on, shoot again, please. Boom. Okay, good. I'll just shoot one shot here. We've got the tracking pylon as well. It's increasing tracking as well. That's really great. Why is this activity field or this configure ship health and enter moving mode for messages? We want to move this a little bit down. This is a bit annoying. Move this like here. And exit moving mode. There we go. Because I couldn't see anything was the name of these NPCs because of how this menu was very close to it. Now it feels a lot better. Okay, we're in Tachyon Cloud now. Getting some good speed. It would be nice to have an MWD. Unfortunately, the Ikitursa doesn't have the buff it used to have to MWDs, or just the general heavy assault cruiser bonus. They used to have bonuses to MWDs that they had like less signature radius penalties, because signature radius is increased in MWDs, not with the heavy assault cruisers to the same degree as it usually would previously. Now it is just the same as any other ship. The small heavy what's it called now, assault frigates, they have though the bonus to their or the reduction to their penalty of MWDs. So you can use MWDs on them a bit more effectively than you would be able to on a typical ship. And I think a lot of people complained because in nullsec apparently they're used a lot heavy assault cruisers, so they just wanted to make it a little bit more varied. But I'm pretty sure that still heavy assault cruisers are used a lot in nullsec, just not as much as before that nerf. I may be wrong though, because I hardly spend much time in nullsec. I usually spend a lot of time in the abyss and in high sec, as many of you guys who know me do know. Okay, these Leshak's taking a bit of time to get through, because their HP is getting more and more all the time or the longer they are alive. Their remote reps they go on, oof, it's not a good thing, because you see they start. Remember the initial ones we faced? They were like here. They had the HP here. These guys have got it all the way up here because of how they're left alive longer, and then they're remote repairing each other. And it's like, oh hell, repair me, Leshak, repair me. And then they got more HP as time went on. So they have to be destroyed quick, otherwise they're going to have full HP. I remember in the T5 Abyss, in the T5 Abyss you can have these special like dreadnought rooms, or not dreadnought rooms, but like this one where there's a shipyard constructing a dreadnought there. These special rooms in T5. You can find lots of Leshaks there, and when I was even using a T5 Gila, it came to the point where sometimes I was a bit too slow trying to take them out. And you notice that suddenly, because there's so many Leshaks, they're all remote repairing each other. Remember I said before, Triglavian ships, they have good remote repairs. Also the Leshaks here, they also have good remote repairs. So they actually were remote repairing each other so much that they all had their full HP when they came towards the end of the site. And it was just like, there's no way I'm going to destroy these. I just have to grab the loot and get out of there. Because in this special room in the T5 sites, you don't have to destroy everything to get through the wave. You just have to... You can just go and exit straight away, but the thing is, the Leshaks, they're positioned in a certain area that you can't really get to the loot without destroying at least a few of them. Otherwise, you're going to take full DPS from them. Speaking of DPS, we can resist quite a bit of DPS if we want to with this assault damage control right here, and that's quite useful for ganks. That's one thing that I love about the heavy assault cruisers. You're able to put the assault damage controls on. I just wish there was a form of heavy assault cruiser of the Gila that had a fourth lower slot that I could put in assault damage control, but that would be obviously too OP. But that would be just so perfect. You can get the Chameleon, the 80 ship, but it's not really a heavy assault cruiser, it's a recon ship. It can't fit assault damage control. Otherwise, if a Gila had there's a special version of the Gila that had a fourth low slot and you were able to put assault damage control, that would have been the perfect abyssal ship. Because if people try to gank you and you're like in a passive tank, you would have like, I don't know how much HP you would have. You would have like maybe 500,000 EHP. It'd be absolutely crazy. Because you can have, I think, the Eagle right here. Eagle is a ship that is known to have good buffer, generally speaking. And you can have this 75k HP without assault damage control, 276k HP with assault damage control. Put in a few high grade Nirvanas there, you're going to have over 300k. Put in a Gamma Psi, you'll probably be hitting like 500k, something like that. Alright, move towards the Huddle Abyssal Overmind. We are a bit bad on time here, considering this is a T4. The Leshaks, just generally speaking, are quite horrible in the Firestorms, because their armor gets buffed by quite a bit. And it's exponentially longer time it takes to get through those waves. The longer you take, the longer that they're left alive, the exponentially longer time the whole room is going to take to complete, because of how that remote repair mechanic I was explaining before works. They just remote repair each other more and more HP is going to exist on the grid, and it's just going to take overall a lot longer time. So deploy drones, please, and go for these small drones, and I'll start spooling up on this Abyssal Overmind over here, because I need to get my Occult sped up on this Abyssal Overmind pretty quickly, actually, because we do not want to waste time here. This is a very bad time for T4, because this Abyssal Overmind is going to take a bit of time. Even though it is a single target, it will be able to spool up a lot of damage. It's still not going to be nice, because Just the Abyssal Overmind is one of the highest HP targets in the Abyss. In fact, I think it is the single most HP type of target. But then also that we get the bonus to the armor HP, and he has a lot of natural armor HP, so it's just going to take a very long time to get through. So we'll just have to hope that we can spool up to decent damage with our Occult right here, so that this goes down quickly. And then we can have our drones assist in the end as well, when all these little drones have been taken out. We can Webify him, and maybe orbit at 10 kilometers, so we can get some good transversal going on. Maybe use a little bit of armor pairs, and I should have, again, reset my reactive armor hardener, but it's adapting over time anyway. Just going to be faster reaction if I reset the reactive armor hardener. Okay, good. Now we're orbiting at a decent range. We're going to get good transversal, 600 DPS, not a lot, but total DPS we've got going on right here is a little bit over 700, I think. So we're at average Gila levels right now, or maybe a tiny bit higher than average Gila levels. And in due time, we can have over, I think, 1k DPS if we leave this long enough. That's one great thing I like about the Ikitursa, is just how you get single targets. You can just sit there with, oh, look at this, I got this crazy DPS on a cruiser. It's not always the easiest thing to achieve. Something I very much wish the CCP would implement is a set of implants that were the opposite of these mimesis implants. Because you've got these implants called mimesis, high-grade mimesis ones. These right here increase the maximum damage to entropic disintegrators, but they have a penalty to the increase per cycle. So you can think of it like this. The mimesis implants, they make it so that the maximum amount of damage, like at max spool, is going to be increased. Let's see what have damage got. Oof, 900 DPS. We're over 1k now. Oof. But the thing is, it takes longer to get more damage. So it would be good, I guess, in like these structure bashes or things that you're just sitting there attacking one target all the time. But for the Abyss, it would be very bad because you would be sitting at low DPS all the time, unless it's like these waves here. And even then, we're not on like max spool, and we've still not been able to get there. So it'll just be even worse, even here. I wish that they would have an implant set that would be the opposite to the mimesis. So instead, it will spool up quicker, but have a lower, like, maximum DPS, if that makes any sense. I think that would be good. Just like, we'll make it a little bit more adapted to the small targets, and it will be good for the Abyss, that you can have like some form of better single target capabilities. They're all like, or not single target, multiple target capabilities in the Abyss. Okay, we finished this in 16 minutes. We have not got the most optimal weather effect for time, so in fact that is quite a good test right there for time, because minus 50% thermal, it could be perhaps minus 70%. They would have gone even quicker than this, so that's good. We got a Leshak room, which is also a pretty like tedious room in terms of time, and an Abyssal Overmind is a bit of an average time because it goes quick because we can spool up to good DPS, but on the other hand, it is a very tanky ship, so it's a bit of an average room, maybe slightly quick depending on how the spawn of little rogue drones associated with Abyssal Overmind is. But I mean, that was successful right there, successful run. It's just a bit slow, that's a bit unfortunate, and that's how it can be sometimes in the T4 Firestorm. Even in the Gila that I use to go and do these T4 Firestorms, it does sometimes go a bit slow if it is bad spawns. If it's good spawns, it can sometimes go 10 minutes, sometimes even less than 10 minutes. And the same may as well could go for the Ikitursa as well. We'll just have to see in further testing. But I was very happy with the tank right there. That's the main thing that I want to test, actually, is the tank. So we're going to maybe have to see how this goes in the minus 70% thermal resist of the Firestorm sites, because I felt like the tank was really great tank right here, because it was just, we were reacting with a reactive armor hardener, getting great resists, great buffer, and we were just, you know, at one point you saw that I was only using one armor pair and it was just completely fine. I just activated my second one just to be a bit safe. The drone damage is also pretty smooth right here. I didn't even have to use my remote armor pairs on my drones a single time. Obviously, it'll get a bit more chaotic when we're against these spawns like mass Damavik waves and like mass small rogue drone waves. Then it's going to be chaotic when it comes to the drone aggro. But otherwise, I'm pretty happy. We're going to just have to do more testing, because I really would love to get an Ikitursa that is able to do the T4 Firestorm smoothly and is not too expensive, not any implants in. I think that is a good goal. Or that's a goal I want to have to be able to achieve. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and if you did, please leave a like and subscribe. I'll catch you guys later.